Ann Erica Whitemarsh, who is not only the executive director, but also the founder of the Rascal Rodeo. And I would say more about what she does, but you're reading it all. And she told me that she's ready. So with that, Ann Erica. And Colton.
And Colton. This is my son Colton, and I will talk a little bit more about him here in a little bit, but he's going to push the buttons for us, because he's my little helper. And the first thing we've got, well, you guys have probably all heard this already, but our mission is helping those with physical and developmental disabilities. Hold on, let me get him situated before we lose the computer or something. Okay. Discover unknown abilities in a unique, safe, and modified rodeo environment. So it's an adaptive rodeo, and the events we do are bull riding, bronc riding, and unicorn riding, steer roping, cow milking, buffalo ring toss, stick horse barrel racing, horse and pony rides, and dirt toys. So next up is a video.
Well, it's a big week for rodeos in Oregon, including one in Valhalla that makes everyone a cowboy or cowgirl in the arena.
It is so special. Fox Show photojournalist Mike Heinrich takes us to the Rascal Rodeo.
I grew up wanting to be a cowgirl, dreaming of being a cowgirl, and I got to be one somewhat. Then I quickly realized that people with special needs didn't have anywhere to go be cowboys and cowgirls. The participants get checked in. Everybody gets a t-shirt, cowboy hat, cowgirl hat, sheriff badge, a bandana.
I actually like to work the front gate. I love greeting the participants.
They come into the arena and we've got horse and pony rides.
All right, we've got a new sheriff in here. Are you ready? Hi.
It's so heartwarming.
From a physical standpoint, it builds great muscle structure in his upper body. But from an emotional standpoint, he just has a blast. I mean, it's fun. This is absolute pure joy.
You want to bring this one?
Everybody should have a chance to touch a horse and get on a horse.
It's a lot of fun for me, and it's a lot of fun for him. You know, it's an opportunity for him to not be in a chair and to be on top of a horse, you know, which is a very special thing.
It's more than being cowboys and cowgirls. It's coming and being accepted. Here they're accepted and celebrated and cheered on to go do these different activities and accomplish the different events. We've got cow milking, steer roping, buffalo ring toss, stick horse barrel racing, bull riding, bronc riding, and unicorn riding. Our events are always free for the participants because of donors, sponsors, and volunteers. And today we have close to 100 volunteers and 140 participants.
It just is a real feel-good opportunity that I can give back to.
I have 3 special needs kids, and we've been coming for 4 years. So I feel like crying right now. It's a little win for our family, and this is a big win for us.
I love seeing the people that were once segregated and told no and institutionalized out here being celebrated and shown on the media. Well, there was a day when they weren't shown on the media.
Okay, there you go.
It is so incredible. Finding events like this is really challenging, especially events that are understanding and we're not surrounded by people that are just giving us funny looks. It is really important to us, and it's so rewarding that we can find an event like this and our kids enjoy it.
Wow.
So incredible.
Oh my gosh, goosebumps.
I
What
know.
a special event for those families and those kids. If you'd like to learn more about the Rascal Rodeo, we do have a link to to the nonprofit on our website, kptv.com.
Just another example of how rodeo people are some of the nicest, best people to run into out there, and it's so cool for this to be able to happen.
You can see it means so much to the kids, but also to their families to feel like they have a part of the community and some pride and confidence.
And visibility, and they're on TV, like you said,
that's right.
To be able to see them in the media.
They look great.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when's the last time you were next to a horse?
Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah. So it's a special thing. It's a really neat thing to be able to do that. So glad we were able to see that again, Mike Heinrich. You did a great job.
Okay, so I love the good news story.
Big rodeos in Oregon, including one in Molalla that makes everyone a cowboy or cowgirl in the arena.
It is so special. Foxtrot Thunder Journalist Mike Heinrich takes us.
There we go. I love good news stories. Especially about Rascal Rodeo, and then I don't have to talk and explain everything because they did it so well in those 3 minutes or whatever. So, some more information on Rascal Rodeo. It was my high school senior project in 2001. They used to, I don't know what they do down here in Oregon. First of all, let me back up because this is the first time that I've presented down here in Central Oregon, so I'm excited to be here. Thank you very much. I'm from Eastern Washington. I know exactly where Walla Walla is and all those wineries. Here's a little tidbit. There's more wineries within a 100-mile radius of Tri-Cities where I live than anywhere else in the U.S. So if you want to go wine tasting, come see me. But thank you very much for me and having my son here with. So it's always good to be able to have lunch that I didn't have to buy or prepare. So thank you very much. So we used to have to do senior projects in high school to graduate, and I almost didn't graduate high school because of my grades. I just focused on sports, and by the grace of God, I graduated high school. But I also had the best senior project out of everybody in my graduating class, so kind of a funny thing. We had 4 participants and 20 volunteers. This is a picture from that very first event. And those 4 participants down here, all 4 of them well, 3 of the 4 have come and participated still with us. Little Micah, he passed away soon after that event, so it's always fun to see them come back to our events, no matter how old they are. So I didn't do another one until 2010. I went off to college somehow, mostly to play sports. Not mostly, it was to play sports. I went to Warner Pacific in Portland and was able to do volleyball and track, and again, almost didn't graduate college. And like a month before graduation, the president called me in to her office and was like, you need to, or maybe the dean of students or somebody, I don't remember who, and she's like, you need to get your act together, you're not going to graduate. And I was like, all right. And I wrote my thesis paper, I don't even remember what it's called now, I sound so terrible, but I wrote that paper in one night and barely graduated. But I knew that I needed to be doing Rascal Rodeo, I just didn't know how. How do you go start a nonprofit? Back then I didn't know if it was going to be a nonprofit or a business. So graduated high school, graduated college, went and got a really good job out at Hanford, was laid off 4 jobs in 3 years back in 2011 during the recessions. And I finally told my parents, I'm just going to have to do this Rascal Rodeo thing. I was 27, I didn't have a job, I didn't have a car because it had broke down. I had student loans to my name, and that was it. My dad had to go open up the P.O. box because I didn't have anything in my name at the time. So a family friend had called and said in 2010, she said, I know you've done something like this before. Can you come and do it for us in Moses Lake? And I said, yes, absolutely. But I had to figure out a way to get there because I still didn't have a car. So my sister drove me over there, and we had 7 participants and 100 volunteers, and we had so many volunteers because it was during the high school rodeo finals in Washington State. And so it was really cool to see so many of those youth volunteers partnering up with the special needs cowboys and cowgirls. So then became incorporated in 2010, received our 501c3 the same year. Then we had 2 rodeos, 4 rodeos, 7 rodeos, 14 to 16 rodeos, and then 2020 was our 10th year anniversary, and we had 20 rodeos on the schedule, and we had 1 before the shutdowns happened, and 19 of them canceled. So that was a tough year for everybody, of course. But so we kind of stayed alive and stayed in contact with our participants and showed them that they're still loved and people are still out there caring for them. We all had a tough time with the closing of so much stuff. But imagine somebody, go back please. Okay, you can't touch it. Okay. Don't touch it. These participants didn't understand. I mean, a lot of people didn't understand what was going on, but imagine somebody with special needs really not understanding what's going on. We had participants banging their heads up against walls. We had them grinding their teeth. I mean, just all kinds of horrible things. So I was like, we have to do something for our cowboys and cowgirls. So all my good ideas come to me in the shower. I keep a dry erase marker in the bathroom and I hop out and write it on the mirror. But adopt a Rascal Rodeo cowboy or cowgirl. And I created an event or a group on Facebook. And overnight we got 1,000 members. And parents or participants could go and post about them on there and say, Chucky loves horse rides or Pokemon or whatever, all different kinds of things, and when their birthday was. And so we had in all 4 states back then that we were had rodeos. We had people putting on parades, going by, throwing candy, throwing gifts to the participants to cheer them up, whether it was their birthday or not. People were sending gift packages to them. We had a car show organized in Southern Oregon. One kid just loves classic cars, so a volunteer organized a car show for him. Police departments, rodeo queens, just so many people got involved in it. It was so cool. And then, the birthday parades where you drive by with the big motorcycle groups and everything, doing those. And then we did happy hour. We had Smazzany Wine created a label for us, and we sold that, and we were able to keep the profits from that. And then we did a Father's Day feast. And the happy hour thing and the Father's Day feast, I was like, okay, we'll plan for 40 sales of each package at the 2 different times. And I didn't think it was, I didn't even think about it selling out, but it sold out overnight. And I had to go back to these businesses that we were working with, and I said, can I get some extra packages of, whatever you get, the charcuterie and the chocolates and the prime rib and all this stuff? And they're like, yeah, okay. So we did like 70 and 80 different packages, and it was delivered to people's homes. So that's how we survived COVID. And then back in 21, we had 11 rodeos and then 15 last year. This year, 18 rodeos. And this year, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Nevada, Wyoming, and Utah. This next year is our 15th year anniversary, so hopefully we can celebrate that big. And we are adding Montana to that list so far. So, who, how, and when? We're all ages, all disabilities. We try not to focus on the disabilities. We only ask it on the registration for grant purposes. And ways that you guys can get involved. Anybody can get involved. You don't have to have horse or rodeo experience. You have to have a heart, and I know everybody does. Some are a little bit harder than others, and that's okay. Hosting fundraisers, volunteer. Will be Saturday morning right over here next door at the fairgrounds. Sponsor the event. The events are always free of charge to the participants. This one down here, the circuit finals, it's one that's not sponsored, so Rascal Rodeo covers the cost of that, but we eat that. But it's always free for the participants. We have a big... Is that okay? I don't know.
It's the car.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, the ground is falling or something. But nobody else moved, so. Honky Tonk Hoedown, that's our annual fundraiser with dinner and auction, live band. You hear galas and all that kind of stuff, but ours is a Honky Tonk Hoedown, and it's so much fun. People come in their jeans and boots and hats and, just have a time of their lives. That's always the 3rd weekend of March. If you're handy and you can help build and restore some of our props, we can't just go to Amazon or Walmart or the local hardware store and purchase a unicorn for people to ride. So everything has to be built pretty much. Excuse me. A couple years ago, came to me that we should hand out belt buckles, and so we request people to do belt buckle drives. and they can be all different kinds. It just can't be like Hilton whiskey belt buckle kind of thing, since we are all ages. But you can see there's a variety of those belt buckles over there. A couple stories about the buckles. We had one that came in that said plumber on it. And I thought, well, that's kind of funny. Like, who's going to want a belt buckle that says plumber? And I almost didn't put it in there in the pile to take to the rodeo. I kept it in there. And the participant that chose it was a young man. And he saw it and was like, oh my gosh, I want that. That's my buckle. That's my buckle. That's me. That's me. And I'm like, what? His last name was Plummer. Michael Plummer. And I was like, okay, yep, don't ever exclude any of the belt buckles. Another one was, it was a bowling ball, and you could tell it was kind of like crashing into the pins, and I almost took it out because it looked like a weapon. And I left it in there, and the young man that chose that belt buckle had won Special Olympics bowling the week before. So he got to keep that belt buckle, like, that tied into the Special Olympics. So we're always accepting belt buckles. We serve over 2,000 people a year, so we need over 2,000 belt buckles a year, so quite a bit. Be a board member. We are in 7 states, and we have board members in 4 different states, so you don't have to be local to Tri-Cities. Or serve on one of the committees also. So this year, we have been planning to add a second rig. Some of you might have seen the truck in the parking lot. I mentioned earlier, I started Rascal Rodeo with no job, no car, nothing to my name. We won that truck. Toyota was giving away 100 vehicles a year for 3 different years in a row. And so we were in that nationwide contest the 3rd year, and we won a truck. And it has 178,000 miles on it now. And on the way down here, I was just telling somebody, I was like, this truck has been awesome. Like, I haven't had any trouble with it. And he rolled down his back window to look at the deer or something. I can't remember what we were looking at, and we couldn't get it back up. So I was like, oh no, we just jinxed this. But we got it back up, thankfully, before the rain started. So hopefully going to be adding a Suburban. I had ordered it from our local dealer, but they're so backed up that the parts aren't available, and so it's been a long wait. But that way we can slowly kind of phase out the old truck and trailer, but also keep it hopefully for the closer rodeos to Tri-Cities and be able to be in 2 different places at once, because we've been requested, on the same weekend over the 4th of July, we have 4 rodeos in 4 or 5 days, so in 3 different states. So it'll make travel easier. On the tables, the blue papers, you guys have probably already seen them. A couple years ago, I told my board, I said, we need to do a youth scholarship, but not call it scholarship because they can use the money not just for college, because I've already said I'm not the biggest student, but a grant. And so it's been 3 years in the making. A couple weeks ago, we were able to honor 8 different youth volunteers. And I think I added a different slide to that, so I'll wait to keep talking about that in a minute. But this year we also added the dirt toys, and that's Colton over there in the corner. But he started traveling with me last summer. He used to stay home with my parents when I'd have to be on the road, but he's old enough now to come and help me out. So after one of the rodeos, he goes, Mom, we need dirt toys in the arena. And we've always had participants that will come in and just want to play in the dirt. Well, they're just playing in the manure and the dirt with their hands. And so I was like, yes, oh my gosh, how come I didn't think of this, 14 years ago? And so we went to the store and bought Tonka trucks and farm animals and stuff, and participants will see those out in the arena, and those are something familiar or something fun that they know that they can go be a part of, and they're not too sure about the horses yet, and so they go play with the horses or play with the Tonka truck, and then they get used to the atmosphere, and then they run off and go ride the horse. So that's been a really cool thing. I've got 2 minutes. Is that what I've got?
Sounds like it, yeah.
Okay, shoot. So this is more about our youth scholarship grant. And we will go, you guys have that information, go to the next slide, buddy. So I started Rascal Rodeo as a way to give people the opportunity to experience the Western way of life and be cowboys and cowgirls, but we've realized that it's much more than that. We've had 3 people say their first words ever after coming and riding horses with us. The first one, Robert, he's from here, he was 29, confined to a wheelchair, cerebral palsy, and we lifted him up on the back of the horse, and he said his first word ever, and it was horse. We've had 2 others do the same. So it's much more than just being cowboys and cowgirls. It's changing their lives. We've had volunteers come as hairdressers, and now they are special education teachers. So it's a pretty miraculous experience for everybody. Charlie, he came, he has Tourette's. His care provider said he is not going to get on those horses. And the way she kept track of Charlie was he constantly said, hey, 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 like that, constant. And she was, a few minutes later after they got there, I hear this lady, where's Charlie, where's Charlie, where's Charlie? I can't find Charlie. And I'm like, holy crap, how did we lose a participant? Like, we're in an arena, we can't lose participants. Well, he had gotten on the horse, and Jeff Bellingham, he was our board member at the time, and he was on the back of the horse with Charlie. And within 3 strides of that horse moving, his legs completely stopped, and his body just totally like sunk and relaxed. So it's so much more than just being cowboys and cowgirls. And you can see us Saturday morning, whether you come and volunteer or you know somebody that could participate. It's all ages. We've got a 2-year-old, we've had a 92-year-old. If you don't want to be involved, but you want to come check it out, come sit in the grandstands, take the information on the tables, and hand it out. Any questions? Sorry, I didn't realize I was...
Stay a few minutes if people
Oh,
have
yeah,
questions.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Got a quote here. It's relevant to our topic this morning. It's by a gentleman named Nito Quinton. It's, your present circumstances do not determine where you can go. They merely determine where you start. There we go. Okay. Oh, there she is.
Did you want to be in the picture?
Oh, thank
you.
Let's take Colton.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Oh, wait.
Here, Colton.
Helper extraordinaire.
Yay.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Oh.
One more.
Yeah, 2 things. If anybody needs a bag, I have more bags ready to go, and we have 2 or 3 extra sandwiches, so they just throw them away. So if you guys want to take them home, take them home.
Also, one more thing, guys, I forgot. John and I have the T-shirts, the Kiwanis T-shirts at our house. If you would like one, please email him or I, and we'll bring them to the meeting for you, or find out other way to get it to you. So.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.